While motorsports divisions of major brands have been fighting tooth and nail to develop the next generation of high-speed EVs for competition, it's historically the general public that has been left in the dust. The gap between consumer grade and true performance enthusiasts has seemed insurmountable. That is, until now. The Audi e-tron GT, its EV's great hope at bridging the divide. Now you too can experience the shocked faces of full bolt-on GTI drivers as you whir silently by them on your souped-up toaster. Porsche's Taycan and its sister car, the Audi e-tron GT, have taken the performance EV market by electrical storm. With lightning-fast torque coupled with frankly alarming power figures, it seems like Dodge Hellcats and Porsche 911 turbos have been relegated as quaint objects of the past. Yeah, that one hurt a little, didn't it? Listen, we get it. We're just saying that it might be time to consider making room on the roster for a proper European performance EV. Off the street, Porsche and Audi continue their own EV development in Formula E, while whispers of Ken Block's Hoonitron and Nitro Rallycross's FCX1 continue to bring the future one step closer. But will these engineering marvels be enough to surpass the place that their antique cousins have left, or do they lack the soul that enthusiasts still chase? Motorsports divisions have spent thousands of hours building EVs for high-speed competition, yet performance enthusiasts continue to scoff at the idea of a performance EV. Will the Audi e-tron GT finally be the car that breaks the mold? Right off the bat, we can't look at either of these models the same way we would love to look at a 911 or an M5. The basis for the Taycan and e-tron GT is their shared J1 platform. And to understand this shift, we need to talk about some history first. After some completely honest emission testing by Volkswagen, the German government forced the manufacturer to begin a clean energy program as part of their court settlement. With prototyping already underway by the time the settlement was reached, Porsche was given the keys to the project and told to come back with a car that was worthy of the crest. Never one to say no to a challenge, the Taycan hit showroom floors in mid-2019, just 4 years after the settlement. Less than a year later, the Audi e-tron GT made its first appearance with the same body and drivetrain construction, and since then, the two have put a sizable dent in Tesla's market share. A 5,000 pound plus sedan built for performance and luxury is nothing new for Porsche engineers, as they already had a platform capable of the J1 stature. Their Panamera Turbo SE Hybrid was just about the same size and was around the same weight, so its underpinnings became the starting point for chassis development. Porsche took the front and rear suspension architecture and paired it with 3-chamber air suspension to give the big sedan the agility and ride control that every Porsche is sold with. The bushings and damper settings were all reworked for the J1 because, unlike the Panamera, the suspension would support a massive battery pack and some electric motors rather than a twin-turbo V8. The 1,400 pound battery pack is the single heaviest component in the car. It's far heavier than the Panamera's drivetrain. The entire battery structure of the J1 platform exists within various modules in the floor, and together, the modules make up the core of the floor structure, including some pockets for the rear passenger's feet that have been specifically molded into the battery for foot space. Doing so ensures that the weight was kept as low to the ground as possible, and obviously, the lower the center of gravity, the better the handling and performance. From there, any sort of suspension improvement is an option. Porsche's dynamic chassis control is exclusive to the Taycan, utilizing electromechanical sway bars to keep the car flatter through the corners and softer over the bumps. However, the active rear wheel steering and the torque vectoring via electromechanical limit slip differentials is available on both the Audi and Porsche. Just how much time was spent dialing in and masking the weight of the batteries is apparent once you're behind the wheel. Neither car is as happy to turn as something like a Cayman, but their performance puts them right up against their more conventional siblings. As Car and Driver put it, between its talkative, perfectly weighted helm and the way its controls cocoon the excellent driving position, the Taycan's essence revolves around its pilot, bringing a rich sense of over-the-road intimacy. And listen, even when you get a little cheeky and chuck them into a bend, the electrified all-wheel drive simply grips and pulls you around. So, putting all that into numbers, the mid-range Taycan 4S hits 1.03 G in skid pad testing, identical to the C8 Corvette. Squeeze too hard exiting a bend and you're rapidly doubling the speed limit thanks to 2 electric motors nested at the center of each axle. PSMs are the latest and greatest of production motors thanks to their relative simplicity, compact sizing, and lightweight. Combined with the 93.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack in the Taycan Turbo S, the electric motor produces 750 horsepower and 774 pound-foot of torque during overboost, good enough for a 2.4-second sprint to 60 miles per hour. The top spec RS e-tron GT gets only 690 during overboost, with all other J1 variants falling below that figure. The Taycan comes as 6 different model levels with a wagon variant available for each. The e-tron GT is strictly a sedan and comes as the RS and non-RS variants. Either way, they're incredibly practical and ample trunk space and enough range to support your daily commute and some short weekend trips. If you find yourself building one of these EVs on their respective website, you'll find that the Porsche comes with quite a bit more customization over the Audi and equipment too. The e-tron GT is offered with a handful of packages, but very few individual options for finer details. On the other hand, the Porsche features several options for what seems like every single individual piece in and on the car. You want your air vent slats trimmed in contrasting leather? Sure, why not? Maybe wood steering wheel trim, carbon shifter trim, and brushed aluminum door sills? It's possible, but I won't recommend it. Perhaps best of all is the paint to sample program available for the Taycan. Splurging for the $11,000 option gives you the choice of 60 colors from Porsche's vast color palette, spanning back to the 356 of the early 50s. Audi has a similar program called Audi Exclusive, but doesn't offer a list of colors to choose from. Along with the color and interior options like sport seats, extra leather, and two-tone upholstery, both J1 models offer a few optional performance enhancements. There's plenty of other tech too, like dynamic matrix LED headlights, remote park assistance, massage seats, and panoramic glass roofs. Does all the fancy tech make the Taycan and e-tron GT any more enthusiast focused? I'd say that there's an argument to be made there. You know, performance facts and figures are well and good on paper, but we don't necessarily love cars for how they look on paper. It's the feelings that they give us when we get in and drive them, when we look back at them after parking and click the lock button more times than we need to. Are EVs a bit boring? Maybe, from a theoretical perspective when you're at home and looking at the computer screen, but not once you're up close and personal with one. The Taycan and e-tron GT are never going to replace an M3, a 911, or an SL63 because they aren't designed to. Gasoline usage needs to be reduced, that's the bottom line. But an ICE powered classics aren't going away anytime soon. Hopping into an EV for the daily commute is going to become a norm for many, so why not make it one that gives you a similar feeling of excitement? You don't have to like them, but you should respect them and cheer for their success. Automakers will only be able to produce future gasoline cars if we can seriously reduce our current carbon output. Cars like the Taycan and e-tron GT are Europe's attempt at aiding the future while providing a little bit of fun and engagement we'll lose forever if they don't succeed. So how do you feel about the future of electric cars? Do you think the thing behind me is amazing or could use some pretty drastic improvement? Let us know in the comments down below, and remember to like, share, and subscribe to see more content in the future.